Hi everyone, welcome to the 93rd episode of the Zicast. As always, I'm your host Ryan Ziaks, and today I'm joined by filmmaker Ben Wallin.
Hi, I'm Ben Wallin.
I decided to say that voice just because it sounded funny.
I know
saying
JJ
Ben
says
Wallin.
that a lot.
Yeah, he does say it like that. JJ Tafuto, also Zicast guest. I'd like to shout out episode 31 guest Liam Chen for technical directing once again. So Ben, you know what I do here, I interview people, get to know them better, and I'm hyped to learn more about you. So how about we kick things off and you tell us a bit about yourself?
All right, so I'm Ben. I'm from Brookfield, Connecticut, which is about an hour away from Quinnipiac here. I'm a 3+1 in the film, television, and media design program, and I'm in my third year, so I'm graduating with my bachelor's this Saturday.
Yeah, at the time of this recording.
Yes, at the time of this recording.
Keyword at the time of this recording. Yeah, I noticed when I texted you, you had a 203 number.
Yeah.
And that's when my brain always notices that for that Connecticut area code. So let's kick things off in terms of what you do studying film, and where does your passion for film stem from?
Well, I think I always wanted to be in film. Like, when I was younger, obviously, like, when we were growing up, it was in that very big, like, Marvel just hit its big stride, and I was going to the theater a lot, and not even just Marvel, like, a lot of stuff. Like, I remember seeing, like, Pirates of the Caribbean in theaters and stuff like that with my dad, and a lot of other stuff like that. And I was getting really into, like, TV, and not just all that stuff, just, like, story stuff in general, which I really, like, want to do more stuff in that line, like, writing and directing, and so that's what kind of, like, inspired me to want to do film.
Of course, yeah, naturally, like when Marvel was big when we were kids, and that's something that really helped me get me into film as well. Was there any like specific moment where you like saw something or saw an interview or something where you're like, that's what I want to do?
There was one I remember. I don't know if you ever heard of it. It's called the movie Bright. It's like a Netflix original.
Yeah.
With Will Smith. You know what I'm talking about? I saw an interview with the director. I don't remember his name, but I remember him saying like, "This was my Star Wars," and it just sucked, and it was so awful. And I was like, I wonder what like my Star Wars would be, and I wanted to figure that out. So
interesting. Yeah. It's once you said Bright, I'm like, that's an interesting movie.
Yeah,
to
I
be
know.
like,
Terrible movie. I remember watching that, and I was like, this sucks.
I'm like, that's interesting. That's the movie that would make you want to get in the movie. So, what is your Star Wars kind of? Would you say?
Well, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Still, obviously, you know, I'm still student here. I guess my Star Wars would have been the stuff in Q tonight.
I was about to say maybe your Star Wars is Secret Wars.
Building up to that. So that was definitely a big part of this year. I mean, I guess we can just jump into Q tonight. I remember you were a producer with me for the first semester there. Yeah, our producer team definitely went through some changes.
Oh, yeah. Like you said, perfect time to bring up where we met, Quinnipiac Tonight. I remember, so when my first ever sketch, so I was a producer. Quinnipiac Tonight is a sketch comedy show.
Yes, of course.
And we were in the esports room because it was a sketch centered around an esports team.
Do you remember that?
And we had an actor who wasn't able to be there, so you were a crew member and you filled in. And that's where we met. I remember you noted former Zicast guest Tom Schwann's acting class as helping you. And you said in my sketch, because it was about frat guys misinterpreting what Super Smash meant, or Super Smash Bros meant, and you said, quote unquote, I just want to smash my bros. So
you did your research for this.
Yes, I did. I'm pulling it out of this is a deep pull, and that's where we met Ben Wallin. And of course, you ended up going on to join me in the ranks as a producer. So I think it's a fitting way for me to ask you, like, where your kind of path in Quinnipiac Tonight, kind of where that all started.
Well, I think my biggest regret in college was not joining it sooner. Because like I said before, like I want to write and direct and stuff like that, and Q Tonight gives you like that platform to do it. So like I remember like last year, obviously, like I saw like JJ was a producer and he had like just gotten involved in it, and I was like, this is something that I want to do moving forward, because like I knew not only did we like, I wasn't sure who wanted to apply, like I didn't know how many people wanted to. And I thought like it would just be a good introduction to get my foot in the door and just like see what I can do. Because like prior to that, I took one editing class. Like I didn't really have a lot of experience editing. I had done like writing here and there, but I never like wrote anything that like I shot or filmed other than like random little like 1 minute long things like freshman year. So it was like a nice opportunity to do it.
Yeah, I second that, because a lot of, at least in my own experience, I'm also a minor in filming, minor in studying film. So I got most of my experience from things like Quinnipiac Tonight, things like Q30, and that's where I got my kind of experience directing. Do you have any like favorite moments, like any specific favorite moment you'd want to pull from in your time?
I think the two was definitely after the first episode this year, because like that was for Fun Orphanage, and that was my first shot, and I remember editing it. I was like, I think this is funny. I don't know if people are gonna like it.
Yeah.
And I remember like walking out, because I was in the control room. I don't remember what I was doing, but I remember walking out, and I remember seeing people like coming up, and they were like, that was incredible. I was like, really? Like I didn't think I thought it was okay. So I was like really, it felt good that people like liked it. And then on this last show, like with Secret Wars, like just like I was standing out in the piazza and people were like very like cheering for that, and that felt good because there was so much build up to that one thing. And originally I didn't want to do Secret Wars like at all. I was like I do not want to do this.
Yeah, and I think that's great because always like when I was a producer, it brought me so much joy to see people laughing at your sketch because how much work goes into it from helping write it, film it, and then edit it, which is what a producer does on that show. So how about you tell us about Secret Wars? Kind of explain that for the audience.
So week 2, there was a bit of a conflict with some stuff behind the scenes, and my original sketch got scrapped, as you may remember.
Yes.
And I and our EPs, our executive producers, Shayna and Ryan Agnello, they were like, you need a new idea. So I was like, I have an idea for this thing called Bobcat Boy, where it's just kind of like a superhero for Quinnipiac's campus because we're the Bobcats. And I was like, he can just be some dumb superhero, and I'll like he has white underwear on, and he has my T-shirt as his cape. So the wonderful Anthony Icardi was chosen to be Bobcat Boy, and we shot it, and people really liked it. And then when we were writing that, I forget, I don't know who it was, but someone's like, they're like, oh, superheroes, like they always have the post-credit scene. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And I remember, I think JJ was like, you should do like a Nick Fury thing. So I was like, yeah, let's do that. So we did that, and then we were talking about, and we're like, Bobcat Boy can return, and we're like, what should we call it? And we're like, let's do Secret Wars, because everyone's returning in that. And so I did that, and then we made like jokes about it throughout like the rest of the first semester, and like about like doing it for the last show. And I didn't really, I kind of like, I was like, yeah, I guess I'll just do this. I didn't really consider like how much people like really wanted to see it. And then second semester came along, and everyone's pitching these ideas for like, how are you gonna include the multiverse, and what time travel are you doing? I'm like, guys, like it's not that serious. And I was like, for so long, I was like, I really don't want to do this because like so many people had like built it up to something that like was so much, and I'm like, I get like the basics of editing. Like I can find an overlay and just like throw that on there and call it a day. But I didn't like fully expect people to like be so excited for this because I thought it was just a throwaway joke that I was doing. And then obviously the last show comes around and people were like super excited for it. I'm like, obviously like I have to do it. Yeah. And I wasn't really excited to do it. And then you were in the writing session for it, and then we had the writing session, and I was like, you know what, I am actually excited for this again because it was fun to do that.
Yeah, and there was a lot of joy in it, and of course to explain it, it's characters from previous sketches throughout. So it was a senior show, so a lot of the seniors is like all of their favorite characters kind of joining Bobcat Boy to take down evil Dr. Jasper. I have the privilege of being the only, well, I guess I am a character, but only like non-character. I played the Zicast in it. Yeah. And I was interviewing our friend Joe Flynn, who goes by Joe Cool. So we had all these like classic characters lined up, and you mentioned the writing session. Maybe my greatest contribution to Quinnipiac tonight is I came up for the name of our Avengers team. Boomers Gooners is the name I came up with, and I just said that because we were like, oh, what's a good name? And I'm like, oh, Boomers Gooners, because Boomer the Bobcat, and then you were like,
that's the one.
That's the one. And I was like, what?
We were just juggling names, and I was like, none of these are like really sticking. And I was like, we have to find it. I was like, we were sitting out for like a good 5 minutes, and then you just said that. I was like, oh, that's so perfect. Like that's the one.
Because I know Nick Wapaya was in that room, or who's also been on here.
The wonderful Nick Wapaya.
The amazing Nick Wapaya, and he was like the pack, and we were like, that sounds tough, but it's not.
It's too cool. It's too cool. Yeah.
Like it's maybe for Joe cool, but not for us. And then we came up with Boomers Gooners, and then it stuck. And then you were able to make that, like, there's a funny shot in there where you're going down the line.
Yes, that was so unintentional.
And then it's like the camera's on my face, but it's like right in my face, so I'm just there like.
Well, the thing is, that weekend, I checked the weather like the day before, and I saw it was going to pour the entire day. And I'm like, that's annoying, because we have this like final fight scene where it's like all the heroes and the final villain, and they run at each other and they fight. And I envisioned it on doing like one of the fields, like the soccer field out there. And then it was raining, so I was talking to people, and people were like, you could do it in like CC 101, which is like this like big auditorium kind of room. And I'm like, that I don't know if that really fits, because like we're trying to do like this charge thing. So I was like, let's just do a hallway and we'll call it a day. And then we have the shot where all the heroes are like the heroes standing next to each other, and I'm panning across it, and I get to the end of the hallway and my back's against the wall and I just kind of like pan over and it's just a shot of just your face just right in the middle, super big, and it's just like I started laughing at the end of the shot because I was just like looking at the monitor and I was like
not
trying,
anticipating that. And it landed, and it was really, because obviously it was like you mentioned, such a big scale shoot. Like every time I would see Michael Katz Flynn, my Richard friend, he would be like, I can't wait for Secret Wars. Ben Wallin has to do it. So you were able to make that land, and then it was also like the premiere sketch of the senior show too, because it was at the end.
Yeah, it was at the very end. It closed off the entire season, which I feel like that was the right way to end it. Yeah. Because
it was like the Avengers level threat of Dr. Jasper and the
the Orphan Master. He returned from the first episode.
Who was an evil orphan master. Yeah, I guess that's the perfect way to explain it. And overall, I'm curious, where do you kind of see yourself in the film industry, kind of building on the things that you've been able to learn at Quinnipiac tonight?
Well, like I said, like I wish I'd gotten involved earlier so I could have had more experience doing this. But like at the end of the day, like I would like to do writing in some capacity. But obviously, like out of the gate from college, I don't know if that's like, you know, the industry's huge and it's extremely competitive, and like I've heard a lot of other of my friends who are like graduating at this end of this year and they still don't have jobs lined up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's, you know, whatever I can take when I get out. There's a few places like I've been trying to get more involved with camera work. Yeah. Because I know that's a good place to start. And then editing too. Like I mentioned before, like prior to this year, like I didn't edit much, and like I still don't know everything. So it's like I've gotten better, but like there's still like a lot I want to learn about. And so like there's a few, like Connecticut's not a huge place for the film industry, but I'm in no rush to move over to LA right now. Maybe New York, but you know, if I could I guess right now my dream thing out of college would somehow to get on SNL and work in the writers room maybe, or work on a camera or something like that, or any of those late night shows in New York. I think that'd be a great place to start.
Yeah, because there was also a sketch where it was seniors like 5 years from now, like where are they now? And you were working on SNL. Yes. You were the janitor.
Yeah, I was not in the writing room for that. They just kind of did that, so that was coincidental. Yeah.
And you bring up LA. When this comes out, you'll be in LA.
Yes, that is the plan.
Yeah. Do you have any like details on that yet, or anything you're looking at this point in time?
Not yet. I've been sending out emails to like different like production companies, like big ones like Agbo and stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing yet. So we're still waiting. Obviously like LA is the place for film right now, and I know like in recent years like Atlanta has popped up more, but LA is still like that place. So I really just want like to get a semester out there just to see what it's like, to see if I could actually like work there and like it and enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I know you did QLA yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Because that's how it was for me. A lot of reaching out to places and trying desperately to see what you can find, but it's really just the right place, and you'll kind of know it when it comes across. Like for me, it was 7 at Keys in LA, the podcasting studio. For Liam, it was Tough Gong.
I didn't know you
Ziggy
did.
Marley's company.
You went to QLA? I did not know that.
Yeah, I did it. I did it last spring, so it's been like about a year now since I've been out of there, but it was really cool. It was an awesome experience.
Yeah.
Spring of 24.
Spring of 24, that would be how you say it. But yeah, no, it was a really cool experience, and I'm glad that you know you're going out there, and I think it'll be a really good fit for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Even if you don't like it, you would know you don't like it.
Yeah, exactly. That's like I want to know.
Which is important. Which is probably just as important as knowing you like it.
Yeah.
And that's exciting to look out for. And of course, at this point in time, we're excited to go to the Cannes Film Festival in France, which also hasn't happened at this point in time. So there's a lot ahead, kind of like I noted. But what's also ahead is what we're going to talk about on this episode of the Zicast, which I'd like to ask you, what are some things people might not know about you, like fun facts?
Let's see. I can think about this.
Okay.
I mentioned I'm from Brookfield, obviously very small town. No one knows where that is. Every time someone's like, "Where's that?" I'm like, "It's next to Danbury," and then everyone's like, "Oh, I know that."
Yeah.
Interesting facts about me: I was an Eagle Scout. I don't think many people know that.
Like Anthony Accardi.
Exactly like Anthony Accardi. I remember talking about him that on what sketch was it? We were filming Art Lash during week 4, and he just brought it up, and I was like, "Really? Me too." So that's an interesting fact. Let's see. I used to do a lot of archery when I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah, that was my big hobby.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Any fun stories from that?
No, I just kind of I had a little target in my backyard. I had my bow, and I'd go out there for an hour or two and I'd just shoot. It was fun.
Interesting. Hawkeye.
Yeah, exactly. I was inspired by Arrow, on CW.
Yeah.
That was I remember watching. I was like, this is so cool.
That also reminds me when you bring that up, like liking comic books. I know you wrote a script for your senior capstone, kind of medieval. Do you mind telling us about that?
Yeah. So that's partially like what the Bright story that I was talking about. Like that was I remember like when I was watching that, I was like, what would my Star Wars be? And I always like envisioned it being like a fantasy thing because I was more into that genre. Like my favorite movie trilogy was like the Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings: Return of the King is I think the best movie ever made in my opinion. So I always thought like, what would my Star Wars be? And I started with like a trilogy mindset for it, and I was like, I can do this. And then I thought about this like 7 years ago, I think, and it progressively over time I just kept thinking of more things to add to it, and I was like, this is too much to do 3 movies with. So and then I was like, let me do a TV show pilot for it. So when I was I think I was junior, I think it was during COVID actually, I wrote a 20-page pilot, and it was terrible. It was horrible, but it was like the groundworks of what I like ended up making my capstone. And then in freshman year of college, I wrote like a more revised version. It was about 40 pages, and it still wasn't very good, but it was like more like pilot-y. Like it flowed better. And then this year, I ended up doing like I went down like the path less traveled, I guess, with like the senior capstone writing, because like I mentioned before, like writing is like that's what I want to do. So I wrote the pilot for it, and I worked with Fritz, who's just great with like. I love Fritz. He's really like knowledgeable with just like story and just like writing, and like even if like I don't get to make that one day, like that's like something that like I'm happy I was able to make and put on paper, because like that's a story that I've had in my head for so long. It was about a bounty hunter and his horse kind of going on. That was part of it. I had like there's about like 3 or 4 storylines going on, kind of like it follows like a Game of Thrones pattern where there's like a big land and there's a lot of different characters in it who are following their own paths. So that's definitely like I watched that, and right up until the end that was my favorite show ever made. And so that's definitely like something I like wanted to do, because I saw that and I thought that's so cool. And then Lord of the Rings, and there's so many other like fantasy shows coming out like as we speak right now, and I feel like the market is like huge for it right now, and just nothing has really hit that stride like Game of Thrones did. Because I remember when that was coming out, like it set records for how many people were pirating it and everything, and like how many people were viewing it, and everyone was talking about it. It was like the most popular show of like I think I've seen in like media ever. And like there's so many stuff out now, like The Witcher and like Wheel of Time, and like they're good shows. They just haven't hit that same stride of like popularity. So I feel like one day, if I ever am able to fortunately make a name for myself in the industry, that's like something I would want to follow in.
I mean, Game of Thrones was beating out like Sunday Night Football, for example, and football's dominated television ratings for who knows how long now. And that's a really great point, that the fantasy market has always been big and not as much tapped into. And when I was reading / listening to your script at the table read for all the capstones, it reminded me a lot of like The Mandalorian.
That's what you were going for. That is definitely something I was inspired by. I remember like watching that in high school, like when that was coming out. So even like it doesn't have to be like medieval fantasy, but like obviously there's so many like fantasy shows that like escape from reality of like just like basic world stuff is what like really inspired me.
And even tapping into like kind of like western-y elements could work, or like even like kind of what The Mandalorian was when it first started, like being more of like a serialized show where it's like an adventure of the week, like where's Mando and Grogu
nice fetch quest. It was fun.
Exactly, because you have like a bounty hunter and you have his horse, and then you have, like you said, like all these like kind of side characters that could pop up, and I really liked it, and I felt like there's definitely a lot of like stuff you could build on there, and things you can add to the world to like differentiate it, and then just kind of like you said, kind of build on that that fantasiness. And of course, you could always maybe cameo with your archery. You could be like his sidekick.
That's me.
You could be his. You could be like his Robin.
I'll be acting now. I was in a few Q Tonight sketches, so I know what I'm doing.
The Wrong Smash, Ryan Ziaks inaugural sketch. So of course we know you love writing. What's one thing you love and one thing you love? One thing you love and one thing you strongly dislike, just in general.
Strongly, I was looking at this question before, and I was like, I can't think of something I strongly dislike. There's a fun fact. I don't like eggs.
Really?
Yes. Everyone's like, why don't you like eggs? I think they're gross. I don't care how they're cooked. I strongly dislike how they taste.
Any reason why?
I just don't like them. Yeah, they just, ever since I was like, these are disgusting, and like everyone's like, oh, like I'm making eggs. I'm like, I don't want any. Huh. I strongly dislike them. Yeah.
You strongly dislike?
Yeah, that is my strongest.
Did you have no allergy?
I have no allergies. Like I have seasonal stuff, but like I'm not allergic to anything. I just don't like eggs.
You just don't like eggs.
Yeah, I know.
Interesting.
It's a very hot take.
I mean, you like what you like.
I know.
That's
Thank you.
Because usually people who don't eat eggs are like allergic to eggs or vegetarians. But that's interesting. And then on the side of what you love.
I love, let's see. Well, I mentioned before, like, I love movies, as most film majors do, and yes. I love just, like, creating story. I think that's so fun, and, like, not just story, but I guess editing, too. The way I think about it, it's kind of like, it's like a puzzle, but I get, like, choose the pieces where they go, and I think that's really fun. Like, when I'm editing, I can just, like, you know, I can find different music for stuff, I can find different, like, clips, and I cut when I want, and I can move stuff around. Even if it's in the script, I can just switch places if it makes more sense, which is something, like I get to decide how it goes, and I think that's really fun.
Yeah, and that's interesting because like editing is like writing in this sense because you can reshape the story in the end. Yeah. Like I know there's an example from Anora, I believe, where it was written that I think it was like a phone call, and it was written that the character picks up the phone and calls somebody, but in the actual edit they added a ring to it that someone was calling him.
I did not know that.
If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And it was just kind of like reshaped the scene a little bit, even in a minor way. So it's always interesting what you can do in the edit to kind of switch up. But something I've been loving, Ben, is your drip. You've been dripped out lately with the bomber jackets.
Yes, thank you. I love my bomber jacket. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm usually the best dressed person in the room, but whenever you have those jackets on, I'm not. I'm getting a little jealous, Ben.
Yeah, this is my jacket. I got it in Prague over spring break.
Oh, really?
Yes, I was visiting my girlfriend. She's doing a semester out there for a semester abroad. So I saw this jacket. I'm like, this is so cool.
It is so cool. Yeah. And how was your trip there?
It's awesome. Prague is a really cool place. Yeah. It's like not like the biggest of known countries, but it's like cool. Yeah.
And you got that cool jacket.
I got this cool jacket.
Any specific things you did there that were fun?
I saw a lot of the landmarks there. We went to Paris for a couple of days. We saw like all the Eiffel Tower stuff. Paris is huge, dude.
Yeah.
And people in Paris are rude.
Really?
Yes, they are. Oh my God. They have huge egos. Not to offend the Paris population that are viewing this video, but they there's some rude people there.
Really?
Yeah, I remember I went to one place. I got a hamburger and some guy started like talking. He was like those Americans and their burgers, they're so fat. I'm like, I don't think I'm fat. I'm sorry.
Damn, he said that to you. That's crazy. Yeah, so I guess we should prepare for that.
When we go to I know. So I know. Hopefully, like the con part isn't too bad, but I know that like Americans have that like, you know, world term that people are like ew. But so I'm a little worried, but I think we should be fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I'd be just like rage baiting them the whole time. I'm gonna be doing like the most American shit possible, just like trying to.
You know, I might limits. Do that. That's a good inspiration.
So Ben, we're hoping that French people are nice to us in France.
We are hoping.
So what are some of your hopes and dreams professionally or in general?
Professionally, I mentioned before, writing, directing. I've always I think this summer I want to start like writing feature stuff because I think it's tougher to sell pilots unless you're doing like sitcom stuff, and it's easier to sell like an indie like low budget like screenplay like that. So that's something I want to work on like in the future because you know. Like Tarantino like made us start doing that stuff, and obviously the industry was way different back then, like 30 years ago. But I think that's a good place for someone to start, like in my position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the advice is just keep writing and writing and writing.
Yeah.
And that's something that always interests me. Like you bring up Tarantino and how different things were back in that time, starting out in film. Of course, like he grew up in Hollywood and things like that. But like it is interesting the ways that they change. Because I know I was having conversations with people. They're asking like is in the industry like film, is it worth being something you go to school for? And I said it just varies on the person.
Yeah.
I'm curious if you have any takes on that.
I mean, I've definitely worried about like I'm in film school and that doesn't like give you the exact same career path. Like if you go to law school, you can work in a firm as like a
exactly
someone like a lower person and still have like a huge career out of that. But or like even like nursing school, you can start as a nurse and you like nurses are never gonna not be needed. But
exactly,
there's so many people who want to be in the film industry, and that's definitely like, you know, I'm not gonna lie, like I've been worried about that before. Like, am I gonna be able to make it in there, or like how is this like what is my end goal here? Because obviously, like, what I want is like not an easy task. Like being able to write and direct stuff like that. It's no one's just gonna hand you $15 million and say go make a movie. Like you have to like really make a name. So that's why, like, you know, and obviously we're in Connecticut. Where are you from?
North Haven, Connecticut.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Yeah, we're in Connecticut. It's not like the film central of the world, so I can't just like commute from my house to some major studio. Like, and New York's right around here, but it's still like, it's not like LA. But like there's just so much out there, and it's such a competitive industry because like think about like how many people at Quinnipiac are in film, and just how many people are in the world. And not even just America, but just like in the world that just want to get into this industry. And obviously America is like the main hotspot for, they have Hollywood and stuff like that. But there's so many people in film school, and there's so many people who aren't in film school and are just like honing their talents and are going to get work. And it's definitely, it's intimidating at times, but I think like, you know, you just got to keep at it. Like, you know, no dream's going to come easy and stuff like that. You got to really work towards, especially in this industry.
Yeah, wouldn't it be fun if it was easy?
Yeah.
And it's also just like carving out your own path. And there's so many people that want to work in the industry, but there's also so many jobs and so many things you can do and so many places you can work that it's kind of just finding your own footing and finding your own place. And you mentioned before wanting to create your Star Wars. Well, let's talk about some of your favorite movies.
So I mentioned before Lord of the Rings. Like obviously that's like my, like, I love fantasy, and that's like just the perfect like thing for my genre. I think one of the most slept on trilogies ever is the Planet of the Apes trilogy, where it starts with James Franco and then he's just gone, and then it's just like with Caesar and stuff. It's so good. Yeah, and I love that stuff.
He's so good they named the salad after him.
But what a comment! Ziaks, what a comment.
Liam, thoughts on that?
I mean, that is crazy that they named a salad after him.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big salad guy, but like,
yeah, I'm not either.
I gotta say it's probably like the most manly salad though.
Yeah. And an emperor or something, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Casino. Yeah.
Die Hard. I have a poster of that in my room at home. I love that. I think as the franchise progresses, it kind of loses its way, but that first one is so just stellar.
Yeah.
With just like the way that stakes are set up in it. It's so like, even though it was made in the 90s, it's just such a perfect like story, like in framing wise. I really like the first 3 Pirates of the Caribbean. I remember watching that when I was a kid, and like I watched that like over the summer, and I was like, these are still really good. Like they hold up. CGI from like 2008 is incredible. Like Davy Jones in that looks so perfect. Like you don't get that kind of look anywhere else. Yeah. Even in like modern day, you think that like all those like VFX stuff has improved over like almost two decades since that movie came out, but still that's like one of the best things I think I've seen.
Yeah, I mean, look at Iron Man.
Yeah, like
and the
that,
downgrade
exactly.
of his suits, because they were more practical when they started out, and then as time went on, especially like I feel like Infinity War is the big one for me, where it was like how kind of like the regression of the way the suits look.
Yeah, I think that was like, I got what they were. I think nanotech was something that was really cool the first time I saw it, and after they did it for everyone's suit, I'm like, I get it.
Yeah,
it's lazy.
Even Spider-Man.
Yeah, even
that's where it got weird.
Spider-Man does not need nanotech.
Yeah.
Ant-Man does not need nanotech. Like all these people, like just let it be an Iron Man thing and it works.
I agree. Yeah, I think I sidetracked you, but yeah.
Yeah,
like
you did.
Davy Jones, like and the way that it looks, like that's better than just about any film you could find today.
Yeah.
Yeah, and did you have any other favorite movies?
I'm sure I can think of some, but those are like my big ones that I've always loved.
Yeah, you know a random memory that just popped in my head? Halloween when we were dressed as Minions.
I do remember that.
And your costume was a little different.
Yeah, mine was a little stripper-esque.
Yeah,
I had the glittery goggles. Well, I bought it, and I went to Spirit Halloween like a few days before that, and there was only one Minion thing in there, and it had a woman on it, but it said unisex, so I was like, it's fine, whatever. And I open it at Q Tonight. I'm like, this is not unisex. This is not.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was. You guys all had so much. You had like beanies and like actual overalls, and mine was that. God, I hate that thing so much. I got rid of that.
Yeah, it was just a random memory because I've worn that like Minion costume on like it's like that and whatnot, and like it was so funny because like we all had like the same one somehow. Yeah, we all found the same Minion. And yours was completely different.
I know. I felt so like disincluded. I was like, where did they? I was like, these guys, did they go together? Like,
you were kind of a trendsetter. Because like,
I don't
no,
think
not really.
so.
It didn't become a trend.
He was like the Smurfette of the group.
I was,
Yeah.
but not. Thank you, but I don't like that.
Take that as you will. I don't know. I think it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah.
I like the glitter. We'll call it like Elton John glasses or something.
Yeah.
That's exactly
You're
what it
Elton
looked like,
John.
actually.
Yeah.
You're literally Elton John. And I think that great compliment is a great way to wrap this episode
I'm
up.
good with that,
and all
yeah.
the crazy experiences you could have at Quinnipiac tonight. So, of course, thank you for coming on, Ben.
Thank
and did
you
you
for
have
having
any
me.
motivational words or plugs or anything you want to leave the audience with?
Just keep going, you know? I mean, regardless, like, if you're not in the film industry, like, no, like, dream job or dream goal is going to come that easy. So, you know, just keep pushing through.
Very, very inspiring. And it's always fun hanging around with you, Ben. It was really awesome being on the producing staff with you in Quinnipiac tonight and seeing you grow and seeing you create such a great voice and seeing you become such a fan favorite amongst everyone at Quinnipiac tonight and being able to create these sketches, like building up to something like a Secret Wars, which is like your legacy.
Yeah,
here in the
my
Quinnipiac
legacy for
film
the show.
world. And I feel like you not have it any other way.
I wouldn't. I'm very happy that I got to do Secret Wars.
Yeah.
As months went by and I was like, I don't want to do it. I'm really happy I got to do it.
Yeah,
So,
which is kind of like happens with a lot of things we do. And I'm excited to hang with you in France. I'm excited to see what you do in the film industry. And thank you so much for being here, Ben.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And as always, this is Ryan Ziaks with the Zicast, where everyone has a story, signing off. Thank you so much for watching.